You know, you think of Tom and Jerry, itchy and scratchy. It feels like for as long as we can remember, we've been told this one simple story. Dogs and cats are just mortal enemies. But is that age-old rivalry actually real? Or is it just a myth we've all kind of bought into? All right, let's dive in and separate the fact from the fiction.
I mean, that's the real question, isn't it? Is there something just hardwired into their DNA that makes them adversaries from day one? Or maybe is there something a lot more interesting going on right under the surface? Well, that's exactly what we're here to figure out.
So here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll tackle that big myth of them being mortal enemies. Then we're going to get to the biological root of their conflict. We'll jump way back in time to uncover their surprising family history, then see how they actually live together today. We'll even try to decipher their communication breakdown, and finally, we'll reach a verdict on this whole epic rivalry. Okay, first up, let's talk about the idea we all grew up with, that classic dog versus cat story. This idea is absolutely everywhere. It's such a common cliché that we barely even stop to question it. You see a dog lunge for a cat on the street, and you just think, yup, that's what they do. It's this cultural shorthand that has totally shaped how we see the relationship. But it turns out the real story isn't about hate at all. It's about instinct. So if it's not some deep-seated hatred, what is actually causing that classic chase scene we all know? Well, the answer lies in a really powerful primal instinct. And this right here is the crucial point. A dog chasing a cat isn't necessarily being aggressive or trying to be dominant. A lot of the time, it's just their prey drive kicking in. A small, fast-moving animal triggers this deeply ingrained survival program. Honestly, it's the same reason a cat will go nuts for a piece of string. It's an automatic biological impulse. This quote from animal behavior expert Carol Burns just nails it. The drive is triggered without thought. It's a reflex, not some conscious decision to be a bully. It's an instinct that's been fine-tuned over thousands of years for one reason: survival. But this is where the story takes a really fascinating turn. Believe it or not, these supposed arch-enemies, they actually share a branch on the family tree. No, seriously, if you go back far enough, dogs and cats share a common ancestor. This just completely flips the whole idea that they were designed from the very beginning to be enemies. So, where did their paths split? What's just incredible here is the sheer scale of time. We start 60 million years ago, right after the dinosaurs, with their common ancestor, the Miacid. Then about 43 million years ago, that family tree splits into cat-like and dog-like branches. Now fast forward tens of millions of years, and look at the huge gap in their domestication. Dogs started evolving alongside us over 40,000 years ago, but cats, they only really joined the party around 10,000 years ago. That massive difference in time spent with humans helps explain a lot about their very different social behaviors today. All right, let's bring it from ancient history into the present day and see how this all plays out in our own homes. What actually happens when these two super distinct evolutionary paths are forced to share a living room? Well, a huge 2020 study looked at over 1,200 households with both dogs and cats, and it came to a pretty clear conclusion. Despite the myth, most of these homes are not war zones. The vast majority of these rivals actually figure out how to coexist peacefully, and they learn to navigate their differences. And the data really backs this up. I mean, look at this. Almost 70% of owners said their pets sleep together at least sometimes, and over 60% play together. Come on, those are not the behaviors of sworn enemies. This suggests a relationship that's based way more on tolerance, maybe even companionship, than on constant conflict. So what does this peaceful life look like? Well, the most common interactions are pretty telling. You often have the dog trying to be social, with almost 43% of owners saying their dog licks the cat. And the classic cat response? A cool 42% just ignore the dog. So it's less of a fight and more like an energetic extrovert trying to befriend a very stoic introvert. Now, a lot of the friction that does happen, it really comes down to a simple problem. They are speaking completely different languages. This is the perfect example of their communication gap. A happy dog wags its tail, inviting you to come play. A cat wagging its tail is often saying, "Back off, I'm getting annoyed." So you can easily see how a friendly dog could completely misread the signals and get a surprise swat on the nose for trying to be nice. But here's the amazing part. That same study found that over time, they learned to translate each other's language. So when a dog holds its tail high in an assertive way, the cat correctly reads that as a potential threat and might hiss. But when that same dog wags its tail playfully or lies down in a non-threatening way, the cat often responds by being friendly. They are actually decoding each other's body language, and pretty effectively too.
So, after looking at the myth, the instinct, the history, and the modern reality, where do we actually land? Are they friends or are they rivals? I think animal behaviorist Patricia McConnell just sums it up perfectly. The relationship isn't a simple yes or no. It's a whole spectrum. It can range from being best friends to just being indifferent roommates to, yes, sometimes predator and prey. It's not a fixed thing. It's a dynamic that really depends on their individual personalities and their environment.
So here are the crucial takeaways. The whole mortal enemies thing, it's largely a myth. The conflict we sometimes see is usually about instinct, not hate. In reality, most of them live together just fine. They're basically distant relatives who evolved to speak different languages, but with time, they can learn to understand each other. And that is why our understanding and how we introduce them is so important. And that really leaves us with a final thought to chew on. If these two species, separated by 43 million years of evolution, with completely conflicting instincts and languages, can learn to share a couch peacefully, what does that say about the possibilities for overcoming our own differences? It's a fascinating question, isn't it?